let's get one thing straight. This isn't a generational tantrum. It's a reckoning with a denial.
I have never seen the war that I am seeing between the boomer generation and the millennial generation. Never before seen this. It is unbelievable.
Really?
The amount of hatred between these two generations is unbelievable. It's really bad.
So what's the core thing they're fighting about?
Betrayal. The boomer generation really is a generation that believed that the template for success was a very specific thing. They themselves made all kinds of decisions that changed the entire framework and the landscape of this world and the society in a way that would not work anymore for what they did essentially when they were 20. So they sold an idea to the millennials. The millennials followed that ideal. Because of doing so, they fell off a cliff, basically, bounced themselves straight towards two huge recessions, didn't work in relationships. So all of a sudden, they're like, wait a minute, I trusted you and you misled me. And now I can never get what you got. There's no hope for the future. And now you won't step out of the position that you're in, where I'm convinced you're making decisions that harmed me.
See, millennials and Gen Z aren't angry because older Australians had it good. They never asked for it. They were given it. We're angry because many refuse to acknowledge that. The resentment isn't about the wealth. For decades, Australia ran an economy that made ordinary people wealthy by accident. Free or near free university, secure jobs with rising wages, cheap housing relative to income, expanding public services, superannuation introduced at the start of historic bull markets, and asset prices that were inflated by policy, not productivity. They were not dependent on their output. Many boomers did start with little, but they started in a system that was designed to lift them up. That distinction matters. Starting from nothing in a rising system is not the same as starting from nothing in a closed one. Today's young Australians face the inverse: record debt, stagnant wages, inflated asset prices, shrinking public services, and compulsory, lifelong renting. Housing, which is a basic human need, has been transformed into a protected financial asset. Ownership is deferred indefinitely, and risk is individualized while reward is inherited. Yet, when younger generations point this out, we're just told that we are being entitled or lazy. That accusation is what fuels the anger. We understand. Boomers didn't ask for free education, soaring house prices, or generous universal welfare. But denying those advantages while opposing the same policies for others, that's indefensible. You cannot call student debt relief a handout when your degree was free. You cannot condemn social housing while your wealth was inflated by public infrastructure, planning decisions, and speculative market prices. You cannot praise the market while benefiting from decades of intervention. This is not about blame. This is about honesty. Australia has created a rental and investor class divide, most visibly in Sydney. See, homes here have quadrupled in price in 2 decades, while wages have lagged far behind. A story that's very common in a lot of places in the world right now, but especially visible in Sydney. This isn't hard work paying off. It's policy compounding. Bad policy. The media rarely names this reality. Instead, it redirects frustration into culture wars, identity debates, safe conflicts that leave asset untouched, out of the debate. Real economic critique, though, that threatens property, finance, and advertising revenue. It's no wonder it's quietly sidelined. And that's why younger generations have tuned out. Not because we're apathetic, but because we feel alienated. What we're hearing in our media isn't what our reality is, and we're being blamed. See, the fix doesn't require punishment or generational warfare. It just requires one sentence to be spoken honestly and plainly. You benefited from a system that no longer exists, and it is unjust to deny others the same chance. Until that truth is acknowledged, the resentment's going to grow. Not because young people want more, but because we're constantly being told to accept less and that it is our fault. This isn't entitlement. It's a reckoning with a ladder that was pulled up and a demand that we stop insisting that that ladder never existed.